Just wanted to make a quick video here about these Kawasaki electrodes and the issues they're having with the throttle malfunctions. As you can see, what happens here, I have the throttle off of this. Throttle tube comes off with just this one little nut here, and then if you take this out, this little piece will pop out of there, and you can get to this. Anyway, it's just two little screws. That takes it off the handlebar. That takes this plastic piece off that allows you to get into here. But what you can see is that these wires get pulled out really easy. All it takes is you turning the handlebars a little bit too far, and the issue is that this is what they're using for strain relief, and if that's not clamped on there very tight, that can still pull, and then you still end up pulling. But these three wires here, they go to a Hall effect sensor that's in there. You can see the three little tiny, right there, 1, 2, 3. That's the Hall effect sensor, and I can actually pop that out of there here real quick. Let me pop that out, and I'll get right back. All right, so right here is the Hall effect sensor. There's a part number on here. I believe it is 49E. I can't see it in this focus. And that comes out of there. You literally just go like that and it'll fall out. But what you can do, I know they're covering these under warranty, and I also know that you can buy like a $10 throttle, probably for a scooter or something, that would work for this. But the other thing you could do is you could order some of these Hall effect sensors and actually just solder them right to these wires. And you probably could fix this for about $1.
Daddy, can I open
all right.
this? Please.
All right, so it's a couple days later. I got on Amazon and I ordered myself some 49E linear Hall effect sensors. Now, I've done some research here. The first thing I found when I looked on Amazon was a 3144 Hall effect sensor, and you could get those for about $6, I think, for about 20 of them or so. And I almost bought them because I was like, oh, it's the same package. It's I believe it is I forget the package. But I almost bought the 3144s, and then after a little more research, I realized that the 49E Hall effect sensors are a linear Hall effect sensor, meaning that the output is linear based on the magnetic field. And I'm pointing to the output wire here, the white one. The 3144 Hall effect sensor is essentially a switch. So that would essentially turn your throttle into an on and off button, and you don't want to do that. So anyway, here's the sensors. You got 40 of them here for about, I don't know, I think these were $8 or $10 or something. Not a lot. I probably only need one of them, so I'll probably have 39 extras laying around. If anybody watching this needs an extra one, I guess shoot me a comment and maybe sell you these for $1 or something. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I could put one of these in an envelope with a postage stamp and get it to you. So if you need one, let me know. Maybe I can hook you up with one cheap. So the plan here is I'm hoping that Kawasaki followed standard color codes here. I'm going to make this VCC, ground, output, and that is with the writing up on this, it would be, anyway, you should look up a data sheet or something, or I can, you know what, I'll put a picture in right here. Yeah, I'm gonna solder that on there, and I'll be right back. The other thing you'll notice is that I do not have any shrink tubing on here. I don't, unfortunately, have any shrink tubing this small, but what I do have is a glue gun. So my plan here is to solder this on, make sure it works. If it works, I'm just gonna use some hot glue to keep the leads separated and insulated, and that should be just fine. So be right back with this soldered on. All right, so there you go, soldered on there. I'm not super happy with my solder job here, but I think it'll work just fine for a toy. You can see with my finger that these are pretty small. You don't need a lot of heat. That heat will transfer from that solder iron to this part very quickly. So I wouldn't be on those pins for more than half a second if you can do it. So my goal here was to transfer the least amount of heat into this part as possible while I did this. Also, it's kind of hard to tell from this video, but there's a slot that this Hall effect sensor goes into. It's shaped like the Hall effect sensor. Do not put this in upside down. If you put the sensor in upside down in that slot, then essentially you're reversing the magnetic field and you'll get the opposite effect that what you're looking for. You'll actually have full throttle at zero throttle, I think. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but put it in. It's shaped the way the package of the sensor is shaped. Okay, so by far the hardest part of this whole project so far has been trying to stuff this component back into here without anything touching. As you can see, I globbed a bunch of hot glue in here to make sure the wires stay separated. I also put some down here in the bottom. In doing this, I'm pretty sure I may have found the actual reason for the failure. I think it does have to do a little bit with pulling out the wire, but I also think that that cover is too close to the wires, and because of that, they had to bend the leads right off the body of the Hall effect sensor, and that's why they were breaking. So I think I'm actually gonna leave that off. I know that's gonna open this up for some dirt and other things, and I gotta clean out that piece of hot glue right there, but yeah, I can clean this up. But anyway, I don't think I'm gonna put that back on. And with that hot glue separating everything and the Hall effect sensor is glued in there now, I don't think this is gonna move. While this was drying, I was also turning it just to make sure it would turn and it's not actually glued to the throttle there. But yeah, I think this is gonna work just fine. Right now I wanna get that piece of glue out of there before it gets stuck in there. All right, so here we go, moment of truth. We're gonna turn it on. That's a good sign. We got no blinky lights here, no blinky blinky. We're gonna give it a little twist. Yep. Oh, yep, she works. So, like I said, I did not put that cover back on. And the other thing is I thought about, the lighting's terrible, but anyway, I thought about putting the throttle cable in that little rubber deal there. But by putting the throttle cable in that and attaching it to the handlebars, you're actually making the problem worse. I actually considered leaving the throttle cable out of the wire loom even. And this faceplate also makes the problem worse because when you spin the bars around, the wires kind of get hung up on that faceplate there. But anyway, I gave it a pretty good tug. I don't think it's gonna come out now. I think there's enough strain relief with that little piece of metal that was in there. It's not getting pulled. So my only concern now would be dirt maybe getting in there, but we don't really get too muddy here. We're in Colorado, not a lot of water, not a lot of mud, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your repair.